I'm Mr. James.
And I'm Mr. Richie.
And we are the educators. Oh, we are back. It is August 20th, 2020. It is a Thursday. It's our normal time. School is approaching. What are you thinking about? Yeah.
Monday. That's what I'm thinking about is Monday. Yeah. Definitely just interested to feel it out. I'm glad that I get to go before, obviously, the kids show up and figure out routines, see who's going to follow the rules, see how these go, and at least feel it out first, because as the viewers know, unless you're watching in the future here, we are still in the middle of the COVID-19 pandemic, unfortunately. And usually I go off and talk about some COVID statistics, and I'm going to do that. But I decided to change it up a little bit.
Yeah.
So yeah, instead of talking about total infections, which is just going to be a number that grows and grows and grows, I think I'd like to talk about, when I bring this up, talk about a number that I think is more important, which I think is new infections. So over the last week, how many new infections? So in the world, there's been 268,087 new infections in 1 week since last Thursday. In the United States, that's 43,798 new infections.
Wow.
So not a small number, 43,000 people getting sick. Sick enough that they have symptoms and go to get tested. So that's a big thing. If 90% of people are asymptomatic, and 43,000 new infections of people that either just got randomly tested or had symptoms, well, there's a lot of other people out there. But luckily here in Maine, we have some good news. 25 new infections over the last week, which is, for a population of 1.3 million, that's pretty good. I think that's a pretty good thing.
I think it was only one death, right?
I think
that. Yeah.
So. Over the last week, it was just one, which is great. And I was watching an interview about, it was a podcast with Bill Nye, which I highly recommend.
Yes, yeah, we love the science guy.
Yep, and he was talking to a doctor about the long-term effects of COVID-19, and he did say that they are learning so much more now, or they have so much more information now, that the death rate is going down because they now know what works, what doesn't. Before, they were doing all kinds of things, trying to do whatever they could. They've learned some things over the last few months, and I'm very happy to hear that his prognosis was optimistic. So if any of you feel to check it out, I highly recommend the Bill Nye podcast. I can't remember the name of it right now.
We're going to put on our shoutouts, basically. We'll put our shoutouts on our website, so then we can try that.
Absolutely. And so, so that's the state of the nation right now, or the state of the world as it is. Was there anything that we had to rant about this week?
I think I might have a rant. So this is one of the things that is, so we know we're going back. We don't officially go back with students until the 14th of September. We go back next week for a workshop that we kind of don't know probably a lot about. We've already had to do some Google training on our own prior to the workshop. They're hoping, or we can do it while we're doing the workshop, which could just basically be us in our rooms trying to do something. For you and I, that means what? Looking at a cart and maybe decorating a cart. I don't even know if I have a cart at all. My room looks clean. There's nothing that I can do to decorate it, because it's just going to be a space for storage, because we're not in our rooms this year. And I don't think anything's going to change that. And if it does, it's going to be sort of like just a shock to be like, you're no longer in a cart, you're going to be in this and stuff like that. But the big thing I want to talk about is that memes. So the word meme was coined by a scientist, I think it was Richard Dawkins, in 1976. So it's from memetics, which are these little slices of culture. Just like Dianetics, DNA, it's the genes that someone has, meme, gene, right? Genes carry hereditary information and memes carry cultural things. If you go on social media, you're going to find teachers all over the place having memes now about how bad it is going to be going back to work, right? It's horrible going back to work. It's going to be this. It's going to be like this movie or this cultural icon or whatever. And everyone's talking about how horrible it's going to be and how parents shouldn't be bringing their kids to us. And we're doing so many things against our own health just to help out society and this and that. And if I have a Facebook feed that literally is every third or fourth post is about that. It's about, oh, dreading going back to school, or I can't believe this, or posting someone's article on something. But it's the fact that I keep seeing these memes comparing us going back to school for every single bad thing that's ever happened in a movie. You know, and it's just, I'm tired of seeing all this. I feel it's going to put everyone at a disadvantage when they get to school. And I'm so upset. This is just like that meme that it's not going to have to be that bad. You have to look at the bright side. Yeah, you have to kind of, this is what we have to work with. And trying to find ways to make something bad before you get into it, I think sets you up in the mindset that it is going to be bad, and then you make it bad. It's kind of like making yourself like, well, I give up. I messed up today I was going to eat this healthy food, but I ate one chocolate chip, so I'm thrown off the bus now. I'm going to go binge on everything that I know is bad for me, but whatever, I give up. That's the thing. Don't have that one thing derail you. Look at it, maybe say, oh yeah, that's funny. Yeah, I wouldn't compare that to Game of Thrones, but whatever. And then just move on with your day. It's that's someone telling you that they're in a bad mood or that they have some anxiety about something. All right, great.
And a meme is someone basically with an anxiety of something trying to get you to share that anxiety and sort of feel it together. That's
they want the empathy, but what they're going to get is sympathy. Sympathy is such a you're away. I feel bad for that person, but I'm not going to do anything about it. Empathy is like, I feel bad and I'm going through the same thing you're going through. And you want people to be empathetic, especially in school. You want teachers to be empathetic. But when I see things like social media stuff, to me, I'm more sympathetic. Like, I feel bad for them, but they posted something, right? Just like right now, this is going to be live out to the public and at large, the whole world. You know, there's many things we're not going to say or do on video. And yeah, it's just everyone needs to kind of that filter and realize their audience. And if their audience, they think it's just their friends, it gets out beyond that. So I've seen too many memes now for that sort of thing. So
when I go back to school, I hope that I stand out as almost entirely positive.
Yeah.
Like I really do look forward to going back. Like, this is a dream career for me. So I do look forward to going back. I think it's unfortunate with all the restrictions and changes and everything. I would still like to tell myself this is temporary, and that this has made me a better teacher because of the new skills that I've learned. I probably would have never dived into learning how to edit videos or, to sort of just present in front of a camera. I had history and I was really good at presenting live right in front of people, at least with a PowerPoint behind me, not a camera in front of me, but live people. And so I've had to sort of change that up and stepped out of the comfort zone. And I just like to be a positive person at work anyway, because whether it's for the students' benefit or for my coworkers' benefit, because working in a school is a stressful place on the best day. And I like to know that when a person comes to talk to me, they don't see me complaining. They could find that many other rooms in any other place around. I will be somebody that will be positive, realistic. However, I don't like fake positivity. I'm not,
No, I see that teacher's like, "Hi, thank you very much, hi," and
yeah,
they turn around, and then their face, the happy smiling face, melts off of them as they're back to everybody, and
yeah,
you go, "Wow, that's great acting skills. We all have that. There's an acting degree up there on my wall." But that's you kind of have to feel it, because
yeah,
I don't have to let my guard down. I don't have to have my guard up ever, because
right,
I'm not trying to pretend to be anything. And I think that's being
yeah,
transparent, and that's what teachers should be.
absolutely. Just being, I am one person, whether I'm at work or at home. However, obviously in front of certain audiences, you make sure certain things are omitted, like you're online. I'm doing my best not to swear. I think in most of these episodes I've done a pretty good job, and I do the same thing live in front of students. So you play to the audience, but I am one person, and I look forward to being that positive role model in the school, even in the worst times. Because, like I said, that's something else that's going to be tough, is learning how to be that positive role model. But like any other skill, we can learn it, and that's what we're talking about today, is learning skills about how to be the best teacher we can during this pandemic. And most of us, I think 90% of the teachers that I know, they are all going to be teaching online. I think there's only one district nearby that I know that their students are going full-time live in person, almost like nothing's happening. And we'll see how this goes. I wish them well. There you go. But yeah, so like we did last time. So the last episode we talked about hardware. So cameras, tripods, audio equipment.
Interesting enough, and I think I can bring this up quickly now.
Perfect. Yeah.
Usually, I'm using this webcam, which is a Logitech HD 1080p. I think it's called a C90 920. I'm usually using this webcam. A company contacted me, and they contacted everybody, I don't know, possibly, named Amcrest. Now, I know Amcrest because they also make security cameras, and I lived in a house before where I bought wired closed circuit cameras that I had to drill holes through the walls and set up and stuff, and it was Amcrest, and it was good quality and everything. And if I paid double the price, I would have got the high definition ones and stuff like that. Right now, I have a different company called Yi, which is absolutely amazing as far as being Wi-Fi compatible and everything. They sent me this. Actually, I had to buy it, and I'm going to be doing a review on this. And this can probably be part of the review. Maybe I'll send them this video, tell them exactly when to look for it. But it looks pretty good. The whites seem to really jump out at me. I haven't tried anything through dedicated software, but if you're thinking about getting a webcam right now, this Logitech was probably $100 when I got it 10 years ago. It is probably over $100 right now. It's maintained that expensive price tag. And the Amcrest one I'm using right now is probably, I think it's $44 to $50, half the price, and this is the quality you're getting. So you might go watch our older videos, compare it, see what you think of. The lighting hasn't changed yet. I do have a ring light that is coming in. We found it that night at the end of the other podcast. I was like, yes, I'm going to get it. Oh, great. Jumped the opportunity to get that. So we'll see how that changes things as well, but pretty good quality. I think what you should do when you're listening to us today is try out these different things, see how they work for you. Try out hardware, try out software, and see at your weakest or at your most kerfuffled state if you can make it work. Because you're going to have mornings, days where just nothing seems to work right. And if you can get your programs to work and you can pull off something that doesn't leave the kids bewildered, and you're like, wow, I can't believe I did that, and I don't even have myself together, then that's the program you want to stick with. So far for us, Zoom seems to be great, right?
It's bulletproof, man. It's
pretty easy.
Yeah,
We're going to be sharing some screens and stuff like that today. It's going to be great.
Yeah, that's true. Like when you find something that works, go with it. And that's something that I tend to do. I tend to commit to one device or one piece of software and really just try to work with it for a while. And so the first video editing software I did that with was the free Windows 10 movie editor, video editor app in my school computer. Because like I mentioned last time, I'm someone that doesn't have a lot of technology around the house. I actually teach technology, but I haven't had a need for it in my house other than 3D printers, drones. I have things like that, but an actual computer, like I don't game. I never edited video until I needed it now. You know, necessity is the mother of invention, and here I am.
Yeah.
So I've had a steep learning curve over the last 6 months. And so I found out, as I mentioned last week, is that my cell phone is the best camera that I own. I'm currently filming this through my work computer, which is a ThinkPad, you know, just a standard computer. It's not high performance, but it is better performing than any other computer I have around the house.
Yeah.
I still have this old computer from 18 years ago that still fires off. It has like, you know, just a half gigahertz processor, you know, all these crazy, like it's just so old school, but it still works. So I'm kind of one of those people that keep things around until they die. So with that said, I'm going to talk about some remote teaching software, and it's going to be real basic. And Mr. James has a lot more experience in audio and video production in general. So he's going to talk about some other more advanced things. So if what I talked about is sort of stuff you've already heard about, don't worry, Mr. James has you covered. But if you are like me and just sort of finding yourself now a online educator as much as you are in person, maybe this will be for you. So first, Apple users. So I have an iPhone. I don't have an Apple computer because Apple computers are usually more expensive, so I've never had one. Most schools issue a Windows computer because they're cheaper. And so I have a iPhone and a Windows computer. On the iPhone, it's actually easier for me to edit videos. Like I mentioned, I kind of dove in and committed to the video editor on my work computer. But after like a month or two of working, and it's going off right now. After a month or two of making videos, I had swapped over now to trying to just make videos on my phone alone or my iPad, because it works like that. So an iPhone or Mac has iMovie already on it. You can find it. It's free. And it is super simple. It's going to be one of the easiest video editors that you can use. So if you have a Mac product, try that first, is what I would recommend. iMovie is the easiest, best performing video editor that I've used on an underpowered device, like an old iPhone. It's always run smoothly on every device I've had. It's intuitive, and it mainly uses icons, so pictures, instead of text-based click and drag kind of thing. So I'll demonstrate that in a second. So if you have multiple Mac devices also, like I do, I have an iPad and an iPhone. And you can take multiple angles with two cameras and then edit those movies together. Super easy. It's so easy when they upload to iCloud, if you have those type of devices. Or need for two camera angles. I do action shots sometimes outside because I'm a STEM teacher, so I like to see, you know, if I'm doing a volcano, it'd be cool to have two different angles. If I'm shooting rockets off, a couple of angles, you know, stuff like that. But if you're just talking to your students, maybe you don't need a couple of angles. But, so I'm going to demonstrate how on my phone, real quick, how easy it is to just stitch or make a video of just something. So I have a couple of clips that I'm going to stitch together. So here on my phone, I'm going to click on iMovie, and I actually will start a new project. So when you open up iMovie and you have no project, that's what it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
So you can click on. Now you can make a trailer. If you go and do a trailer, which I use that as a lesson for high school students. I actually had them build trailers for basically if they were trying to sell you something. And you go in there, there's all these different templates and stuff like that. But if you're just making videos to communicate to students, you're just going to want to click the top one, which is movie. You're going to make a movie. When you click movie, it brings you to all your pictures, or either pictures or video. They call pictures and video together moments. So moments shows you pictures and video because you can stitch together images in with your videos if you would like to do that. So what I'm going to do is stitch together some chalk art that I did with my daughter. So I'm just going to click that right there, and then I click create movie. There. So it brings your movie in, and it brings you to the end of your movie. If you click play, it will just repeat your movie. It's just me looking at some artwork. Now, that's just one clip. If I want to stitch together another clip, like let's say I'm talking about something, and then I wanted to stitch in another clip, I can just push a plus button. So like I said, iMovie is based on icons. So you push plus, and you can go to moments, pictures, or video, because again, you can mix in anything. And I'm going to stitch in together a clip with my cat. So I just selected it. I'm going to push the plus button. Now it takes you to the end of your video. The cat video is now in front of, right there's the transition, in between the first clip and the second clip. And when you push play, you will see a transition between the art, then right to the cat.
And you probably can add different transitions in it as well.
And right there in the middle, exactly, yeah. So if you want to get really slick, right in here in the middle, we call that a transition, when you go from one clip to a next. And if you tap that, there's all kinds of options. That's once you get the swing of things, and that's why I said the best thing you can do is get out there and make bad videos to make good videos.
You can just get bad footage and then get productive after.
Yes.
Get really bad footage, but make it look amazing edited. And that's basically what you want. You want to get technical at that, best at that, and then later on go, well, I guess I got to start to learn how to act and read stuff, well, and be, boom, make my voice a little bit louder and kind of get a personality in front of the camera. But that's something that takes a long time to work on. Get good at the technical stuff now.
I did have a terrible camera, an action camera, and I made a good video out of terrible footage. I'll put that in the notes as well, if anyone's curious about seeing that. So it was a camera with it was really underexposed. It was just a bad action camera, and yet I was able to stitch it together in just a way that it actually became entertaining. So I'm going to put that in the notes for those that want to follow up on that. So with that, so now I've got my two clips together. In this clip, there's a point where my cat is adorable. And then there's a point right after this where my cat gets mischievous and climbs up on my 3D printer. So right there, I just want to get the cat being adorable coming out from hiding underneath the thing. So I'm going to stop right here, tap on that video, and right there are options to split, detach, duplicate, delete. Think logically about what each one of those words mean, and it will walk you right through it. Right there, if I wanted to end that clip, I hit split. And now it's split into two separate clips. I don't want this other clip, so I tap it, and then I hit delete. And boom. Now I just have a real quick, short, two clips together. And that's really all I did when at the beginning of this. Once COVID-19 hit and we were all home editing videos, that's it. I just took different shots changed, you know, the beginning, like sometimes there'd be some dead space in the beginning, chop that out,
Yeah.
chop the end off, put them together, and no other edits whatsoever. That will carry you a long way if you're trying to do something just above a live reading or something like that. And so last thing I want to mention is that if you have actually not the last thing, close to the last thing, but an Android user. So I know I've talked about a lot iPhone. That's not the last thing either. Sorry, about to edit that out. Android users. I did a Google search and I dove into some reviews, and 3 names I saw pop up at the top were InShot, Filmora Go, or KineMaster. And just these are 3 different apps that are very popular and very highly rated, and they're free.
I actually
don't have an
use this
Android
one
phone,
I use, which is called UCut.
Yes, that's another one. Yeah.
And you can take video, whatever you take from that, and it allows you just to do similar thing. It's got a thing in the front where I'm just, gonna tap on, you get the different things, new project, special draft, and stuff like that. And
Absolutely.
yeah, this is one of those things that works really well too.
Yeah.
It's just, for me, on tiny screen, it's like I have a 27-inch monitor that I'm looking at this right now on, and it's so much better to have that.
Yeah.
I almost would have 2 monitors, but to crane my neck around. Yeah.
Well, every time I'm at your house, I'm a little jealous. I'm just, I'm looking right now at my work screen, which is like, like this.
17-inch
monitor. I'm at your house, yeah.
15, yeah.
And so if you have an Android and you want someone to help you figure it out, go to YouTube, search the app, just, like for instance, like UCut.
Yeah.
And you will find somebody trying to teach you how to use it. That's what's awesome right now about crowdsourcing, is that there's a lot of people out there really trying to help people out. And kind of like us, that's what we're trying to do right now. And so I'm going to put in some examples of a movie that I shot and edited entirely with my phone. That's going to be a personal video of me about to restore an old car. And then for Windows computer users, the video editor app, I'll just show a real quick thing about that. But I also have another video that I shot entirely from like a point and shoot camera, where I uploaded the footage to my PC, edited it with that free, and I'll put that in the notes as well. So what I'm going to do right now is attempt to share my screen like I'm in a class right now. So let's see.
All right.
Here we go. All right, so what I'm going to do is go to the search icon right here, and all I'm just going to do is video editor, and there it is, pops right up. So click on that, and it is a very simple program. So a couple of videos that I've done, and different projects, but I'm going to start a new video project. Super easy, just click on it. Name my new video. I'm just going to say test. And my project library is empty. This is where you store your clips until you want to add them to your storyboard. So your storyboard is your eventual video. Storyboard is where you lay out all the clips in a row. But for now, I'm just going to add from my PC. And where is that? Desktop. My cat video. And then I'm just going to place it in the storyboard. And now from here, I can play the video. I can split it, trim it. I won't go through all of that right now because we do have to be cautious of the time. There are lots of more advanced YouTube videos out there if you want to get the nitty-gritty of this specific program. But it really is that simple. It's just drag, click. This is kind of basic stuff. So it's doable. You can do it. I've done it, and I didn't think I could do it. So
eventually, I think the most time anything of this takes is literally taking a video and putting it into the program, because video files are very large. for me,
Yes.
when I edit this video that you're watching right now, it literally takes 20 minutes to upload the video into the program. And when I render it after doing the editing, that takes 25 minutes. I've actually
Absolutely.
gone
And
away and it's taken 45 minutes to do an over an hour episode. And it was just, wow, okay, that I want that to increase. I want that to be faster,
yeah,
but I would need more RAM, faster processor. You know, that's a computer upgrade right there.
right. And pro tip was what I was going to say is that oh, what was it? I'm going to have to edit that out. Hold on a second.
We don't need to edit any of this stuff. This is
God.
great. You're creating
Yeah, right?
more. You're creating more trouble for me.
Oh man, I had a great point.
Anytime he says,
something.
"Edit this out," he's just saying, "Hey, it's going to take you 10 more minutes," because
Oh right.
one
Right.
of the things you have to do is there's no right now. I'm not using software that allows me to place a marker in where something happens, so that afterwards my file, I actually have to go through and sort of listen to us banter, and I get sick of hearing my voice
Yeah.
after a while and go, oh yeah, I remember talking about that. Yeah, I remember that, because I will add cards in. I will add captions on the bottom and stuff and such. So anytime we say edit that out. No. If you have somebody in a program who says edit that out, say no, I'm not going to edit that out. That's going to take more work on my part.
Yeah, just send that to the editors and let them take care of it, right?
Yeah.
We're at that stage
And the
now.
good thing is you can edit the stuff out. You can produce stuff. You can
Right.
get it overly perfect, and that's great. Like a lot of people do with Instagram and wanting a perfect photo and everything's this and that. I don't, I guess you want more viewers. We would love more subscribers. I don't know if that's going to be that or a better thumbnail. Maybe we need to start dressing up a little bit different. I don't know. But I mean, when school starts, we probably are going to look a little bit different, because season 3 is going to come up with some different things. Ooh, there's a teaser right there.
Well, we're going back to school, so that's going to be lots of interesting things to talk about once that happens. So.
All right, you want me to start? You want to start my thing?
I did remember my pro tip was to, when you have to upload that footage and it takes forever, don't forget to set your power settings appropriately, because I had a video uploading and my power setting was in 5 minutes, shut the computer off. Well, it was going to take 30 minutes for that video to upload. 5 minutes into it, the computer shut off. I opened it back up, and it still had to. Luckily, it continued. It didn't have an error or anything, but still, I had to wait another 25 minutes. Just another extra tip there for you. But please, yeah. So now, Mr. James, what can you fill in for those that have a little bit more experience?
I'm going to go over a lot of different things really fast. First of all, we already know we talked about audio last week. That's great. If you want to do just audio and you have time, and obviously if you're doing video and it's something happening at the same time, which is synchronous, you need to have some sort of audio situation going on, whether you're using, even this little camera I have has the audio things to the side, the microphones, they're not the best quality. Your voice is going to be in and out of like being audible and being sounded like I'm talking like this, but you just have to get used to that. Unless you get, this microphone, which I posted last time on the show notes. This is $400, this Rode microphone. This is $150, I believe right now, the B2 Behringer. Doesn't matter. I'm not really a name brand person. It was something that I got used anyway, so. But if you have a chance to be asynchronous with audio, you have a few options. The easiest one is these freeze programs. One's called Audacity, which you can go on and edit software. This is software you can edit, but you can edit WAV files and sounds very easily through that. And there are many people out there that will teach you how to use that. Reaper is another one. It's kind of a paid one, but they let you evaluate it indefinitely, because they'll ask you every time you start it up, okay, you're done evaluating. Are you done evaluating yet? And you're like, no. And apparently I've been evaluating for like 300 days or something like that. So Actually, it was like 1,000 days, I think. But yeah, I haven't really done any recording with it. I just downloaded it and said, all right, try that. But there's a lot of different online browsers in your browser that you can use to record audio, and your phone or your computer has something built in to do that. Video, we've got Zoom. We love Zoom, using Zoom. Zoom is probably going to be adding more features this fall because guess what? They're so popular now, they might as well get to work on something that's going to make you want to come back to them now that Windows and Google have their own version. And I believe they allow more people in theirs now because they're like, okay, great, you want to play ball? We're going to one-up you. So Google and Windows have their own version of that. I think Google's might be called Meets. Windows is Teams. So there's different options for that. Screencastify, if you've never used that, if you have a Chrome browser, add that. It's called Screencastify. That will allow you to show your screen or a window, share it, have you with a little video in the corner if you want, and you can go about doing your business teaching and talking through it to teach someone how to do something. That's probably the easiest thing to do.
That's one that I got to look into that one personally.
Yeah, that one is so easy compared to OBS, which if you've heard of, a lot of people who have YouTube channels use OBS. OBS allows you to do multiple scenes and have even multiple different cameras. And it's almost like a show. So you can have like one camera thing, one camera angle, and you can have a background and maybe some video plays, and you click a button to the next scene has something else. Maybe your camera's over here, and maybe you have a different background, and you can have endless scenes. So it's almost like someone's watching a television show. If you want to know what that's like, we did a little bit of it with our reaction video to the Beirut explosion. Watch that, it's a few episodes ago, and see how we use OBS. I liked OBS. I think that's great. It's just, you better have some time to put into that. You have to preemptively strike if you want to use that in front of people in real time, because it's definitely difficult. And we would be using it right now, but I have to have a workaround to make it work with Zoom or how to share another person, because I would have to be in charge hosting it. And Mr. Ritchie might not be able to see what I'm looking at.
Oh yeah, right. And it's one of those bottomless programs where it's almost like you could just dive in and it's endless. You could do so much with it. And Audacity is another one of them. So Audacity and OBS are both open source as well. So just made by people who are passionate enough to put time into developing those things. And I think that's a pretty cool thing to do.
Which is great too, because if there's something that new comes out and all of a sudden you go, I want to have that new feature, somebody's going to say, oh yeah, I know what they did. And it's going to be a plugin that you get for that program, which is as simple as either clicking on it, double clicking on it and having it, download and up and install, or it's taking a file and throwing it into some other part of the system where you downloaded it and just making it work. And Audacity before was, if you want to turn anything from a giant WAV file, which is like a raw audio file, down to an MP3, which is 1/10 of the size, sometimes a little bit smaller, and there's other different codecs ways to turn this into a small file. But that was a little thing you downloaded before to make it so you could do that. Now, Audacity comes with that. They've just said, we're just going to put it as part of that, and the next time and of course you get a different software update, you get the new update, Audacity changed, and now it's better than ever. And it's always going to have different things. And I keep going back to Audacity, even though there's these other programs out there I want to use for my audio, but Audacity always works perfectly for me. And I'm not recording 1,000 other musicians, so it's always, one or two instruments in at the same time. It's easy.
Yep, there was a time where I was a poor musician trying to make it on my own, and a free program that gives you just a full range of like real good usable tools.
Yeah,
it's hard to come by, and that honestly that That thing really helped. This Audacity is really good for that. I feel like OBS is in the same spirit. There's so much you can do with it.
Yeah, OBS is like the Audacity for video.
Yeah.
We said it here. We said it here.
Right.
Now, when you're thinking about doing any of these things, you have to think about these kind of three sort of things. I wrote our notes, which is it synchronous? Is it in real time? If that's so, have everything set up to go when you need to switch, back and forth to things. Have it all ready. Have browser set up. Have the program ready to click into that. Realize the person on the other end of the video watching doesn't have everything out that you can see, and you need to make sure that those channels are kind of plugged in so that they can see everything and be seamless from one thing to the next. If it's asynchronous, which means you get time to work on it and they can see it later, then you can really make it beautiful and do a lot of editing. You can get lost in a lot of editing. You can really do it forever. Like the last video we made, the last podcast we made, I put up a little bit late. Surprisingly, in one day, it's got more views, as much views as like one of our best ones for some reason.
Yeah.
At least that's on YouTube. So please subscribe, everybody. We want to see, we want beat our numbers, please. We're not going to get monetized anytime soon, and we're not worried about that. We're worried about, are we getting some people we can teach out there? We're teachers. We want to teach. Please have us teach. So, but if you do have time to make it beautiful and do things, do what you can. Find a few programs. If you like one program that does one thing really good, try that. Take what that outputs and put into another program. Personally, for this is through Zoom. After this, Zoom sends me the file after it downloads it. I put it into iMovie, which is another Windows thing, kind of like the editor that Mr. Ritchie uses on his computer. And I just throw an intro in, do the ending, maybe, and I throw some captions in throughout. Sometimes we have an ad in the middle, and that's it. That's it. Throw a little music in, and yeah. There's not we're not doing a lot right now. I want to make it easy on myself, and I want to keep doing this because we do have other lives. We have a lot of things to do, but yeah, try to keep it easy. The last thing is, whether it's synchronous or asynchronous, think of your timeline and use similar elements. So even when you're teaching, if you're going to use a program like I'm talking about in a minute, like FlipGrid or Padlet or something, go back to it and use it often and try to see what you can do with that, rather than every week it's a different program. Hey, one week I'm doing Padlet, next week we're going to do Kahoot, and next week I'm going to do this thing and do that. Students might know some programs they've done in class, but you should really try to keep it to a minimum. Stick with the ones you're really good at, because you will always be able to add other ones later on, and maybe something else is going to feel more comfortable. But try to find a few that you can kind of hold on to. Like with me with Audacity, and of course us with Zoom. We just love it. It's so easy now that it's just, why use that? Before, our podcast was just all audio, and we used clean feed, and when it didn't work, it was like, what are we doing with this? We got to leave this format, this host. We can't use this anymore. So
we're both very busy. We're both very busy, and like if we have to worry about system issues, then we're losing time, burning time, and so right now we're sticking with what works, and that's what I recommend for anyone that's overwhelmed with the situation. When you get time to play, keep investing in what you're doing, because we may be doing this for a while. We don't know.
Yeah. So I'm going to quickly share my screen. There's a few quick things I want to go through. These are just, so once you've got the stuff to kind of get your whatever message, whatever you're teaching across, as far as like gathering sources, audio, video, once you've got that established, Now you've got a lot of software online that you can use to make students, get them more engaged in things. And there's so many things for this. And honestly, I feel like a lot of software right now is just trying to one up the other thing and say, hey, we can do that too. Hey, we can do that. And then you go, what? Okay, what do I use? Once again, try one. If you go, if you see a really steep learning curve, maybe back away from that and maybe try something else. Try the easiest one and maybe keep coming back to that one because that's what you're gonna like. Here's a few things. I'm gonna share my screen now so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. And these ones I'm gonna hopefully use at least 2 of them this year. So, all right, here we go. Oh, okay, there we go. I'm gonna share screen. I haven't done this in a while. Okay, here we go. So you see my screen. Yes. So this is FlipGrid. FlipGrid has been used a lot. It's kind of like you create a topic, like it says there. You can record short little videos for your class, make comments and stuff like that. Not that I don't think Google can already do this, but this is a fun thing. This has been used an awful lot, and you can get codes you give to students. So you make something, you give them a code, they log in, and it's good.
Another STEM teacher strongly recommends this. Use this during the COVID-19 remote learning, and it worked great as a interaction tool.
Yeah. So and that's great. The next one is Padlet, and Padlet is, to me, reminds me of a Post-it board, a bunch of Post-it notes on like a whiteboard or whatever, and you can post things for people like videos. You can post question someone to answer, and you can have little comments go underneath it. It's just kind of a nice visual way to do that sort of thing rather than the standard Google Classroom, which we're going to be using a lot, and it just gives it everything kind of like a fresh look. I mean, just even having these options for colors already beats out my Google Classroom. Makes it look better. The next one is Google. Google has something called Jamboard, which is like a whiteboard, which you can add different things and everybody can kind of like work things out together. And I'm pretty sure you could probably add similar things like you would probably add to FlipGrid or Padlet with this one as well. Like I said, every place is trying to do the similar thing, but sort of stick out in one other way. But it's just about finding which one works for you. Try one if you're like, great, that makes sense, I can do that. Good, stick with that. The others you can just keep in a file somewhere, keep it on this video that you can watch of ours, keep coming back to our videos years on down the line, and you'll say, oh yeah, thanks for telling me about that. I'm gonna try Jamboard this year instead of Padlet. The next one, which I really got excited of, and a lot of these I did get recently, and I want to give a shout out to F-Flat Books. Go to F-Flat online, which is kind of a musical joke because F-Flat is actually an E-note, but yeah. Go on, uh-oh, did my video? Whoa, something
It is paused on my side right now.
All right, my video just paused for some reason. Hey, guess what? Oh, wow, okay. Something happened there. This is the first time using this camera. Guess how the review is going to be? Right? Guess what? Yeah. I think I might end up going back to this. Look at it's, whoa.
I do got to say, yeah.
Yeah.
There's
okay.
a definite difference.
When I started this, actually, the lights on the camera were not on. And it changed. My face got it zoomed in pretty fast, and then the lights went on. I go, uh-oh, wait a minute, it's been on. I don't know what's happening, but yeah, okay, we'll see what's going on with that. Well, hopefully you can see this. This I got from F-Flat. There's a symposium they had. It was amazing music education speakers, and one of them used Nearpod all the time, and it was just amazing because you can set up these little things to do for people to be engaged, and it kind of reminds me of making a PowerPoint presentation that along the way everybody can interact with.
Interesting.
So I really excited about that. It's one of those things too where you're going to get, someone's going to send you something, you're going to enter a code, and they're going to be able to join the lesson and stuff. So it's really easy with that. Next thing is, if you want to do something that's kind of like a timed multiple choice thing, Mentimeter, or what you might just give them is menti.com. And this is a great thing to do. It gives you a code, prepare, engage, follow up, different presentations. It's kind of similar to Nearpod and stuff like that, which is also great. Edu Creations, which is something specifically for iPad and iPod. Yeah. And this is something, I guess, it's really good. As I mentioned about this, someone was talking about how good this was, but yeah, gotta have Apple products, if you want that to work. The other last two things is, if you're gonna share YouTube videos, of course, you see my camera right now is.
Your live feed is still fine.
Okay.
Your camera has some issues, but your live feed is fine.
Okay, great.
Screen share.
Yeah. Hey, at least I'm smiling, I guess, partially.
Right.
The last thing is, if you're going to use YouTube videos, you definitely want to put them through this, which is safeyoutube.net, and allows you to put your videos through, gives them a link, and it gets rid of certain things like ads and such. It actually does quite a lot if you look at these features. There's definitely
That's amazing.
And it's just one of those things that we should probably do that. Yeah.
I can't believe that this exists. Like, I really have needed something like this specifically. And this right here is a gold mine, because on YouTube is some of the best content that I can ever find, but how do I get it without having like some weird ads showing up in front of second graders, you know? So
we don't want this kid right here with his face over his mouth. I don't know why people do that. Maybe it's because they're going, oh, and they have to cover their mouth because they're afraid you're going to see their mouth open. I don't know. I never understood that. But hey, in COVID-19, you don't do that, right?
Don't do that.
The mask is going to be on. We're not going to see your mouth when you react to things, so you don't have to do this. It's kind of scary to see that anyways. The last thing, because we're going to be running out of time, is Mr. Timer. There's different ways to time things. There's timers built into your computers. Maybe you have a watch, maybe you have whatever. Mr. Timer has done your timing thing, and it's kind of ingenious. We were discussing this earlier off camera about how amazing someone who just made a timer has a YouTube channel that has a lot of subscribers, and it's just timer. But you can click on any of these, and it has music, and it has certain things that happen at certain times in the countdown, and the sound changes when it gets down to it. And it's just one of those things you can have in the corner of your screen, the bottom of your screen. You click on one, and it can play, and it's great. It just does that. Yeah. Yeah, it just makes you kind of happy, I guess.
Which I had used Google, like a Google timer. So if you just Google timer, you end up with this very basic, very simple timer that you can use, and it works great. However, you can't select. There's nothing for the kids to watch stuff. Mr. Timer there, that's pretty cool. I like that. I like it. But that's it. So I think that
I'm back, everybody! Yay!
Back.
Wow, I love this new camera. I don't know. Okay, yeah.
So I hope that if you are a teacher, I hope that you leave us a comment, reach out, let us know if there's something we missed that you need us to talk about. We are forward-thinking educators that are trying to navigate this the most productive way possible. So if you think there's something we missed, please let us know. Positive, hopefully not negative, but you know.
Well, give us comments too if you've tried these programs we've mentioned and what you've done to work. One of the other things with these programs is people have come up with their own like quizzes or their structures and templates they've made in these programs, and they share them, which means another thing is you don't have to work really hard to come up with making something from scratch. When you have other people who've used these programs, and they already have something. They've done some hard work that you can basically use. You can give them credit, but at the same time, something that would take you 20 hours to do and someone is already taking care of it, then you can just put in your content using their template. And I love that sort of thing. It's kind of how I've worked with Google for years.
And don't feel bad about it, because like this is part of the future, basically. Crowdsourcing is part of the future. We have to embrace it. It's not perfect. You are going to spend hours doing things that end up being kind of a black hole. Like me investing all that energy into my free Windows editor when I had an iPhone and could have just done it there quicker, you know. And so there are things that you will learn along the way. Learning is a continuum. So let's not get stuck in our ways. Let's adapt to the changing environment around us, and let's do our best for these kids, right?
Yeah, and of course, when season 3 comes out, when we're actually in school, it's when we're going to start season 3. You're going to see and hear from us and how these programs and our basically plans going in are working out. And we will tell you how things aren't working out. And it's just going to be our opinion. Hopefully we can get some comments and more subscribers. So eventually we can have this sort of community build around this. And hopefully we're teaching, because this is one of the big things. If any of our students come upon this, although they're much younger than the adults we think we're making this for, get some advice, get some ideas, try this stuff out now. Think of something and help the teacher that you go to see, help them, because they're gonna really need to know how to use this stuff. And this is one of those things, if these programs really catch on, these companies will make them better. They will figure out what they need to do. Zoom has gotten much, much better, and it's gonna continue to get better. And like I mentioned, Google and Microsoft are on their heels trying to do something as good. It's just going to push more innovation, and we benefit from that because we want to have the clearest videos. We want you to see us like we see us, basically, not pixelated like I think right now both of our screens. I think mine's running on 720 this entire time. Yours definitely 720. Yeah, it's just, we want 1080, we want 4K. I want it crystal clear. I want to smile and you can see that spinach in my teeth, because I like spinach. And even though it's not going to be good for me in the public domain, I don't care. I'm that transparent.
But we are real public educators, so we don't have an endless bank supply. So we are working with what we've got, you know, and that's what we've all got to do here in 2020/2021, depending on how this goes. You know, so let's do our best. I mean, so today, to recap real quick, let's keep it positive. Let's not worry about those bad memes, all right? Let's not do that. If you don't have a lot of equipment, use your iPhone, use your work computer. You can edit videos on those things. And if you do have some experience in these things, check out some of the free available resources that Mr. James has laid out for us, and just use this time wisely. Let's make this as good of a year as it can be, and it's something we can do. We've been through worse as educators, and this is our moment here. Let's make it a positive one.
Yeah, make it your own, basically. All of these things are customizable to make it yours. Make a Google site or Weebly or whatever you do. Make yourself, get a foothold, make your own world, and share it with others so that they can see who you are. And it's going to be different, but it's going to be unique. And that's what's good about it. It's not going to be the same as everyone else's. And these programs and ideas we talked about are a way to at least get yourself to become unique, especially when your school mandates everybody make a Google Classroom or a Seesaw, and it literally can all look the same. And even though students know the format, it gets pretty boring, and you can imagine if they have to go to like a number of them during the day, it's just going to be bad. So make it better.
That's right.
Well, I'm Mr. James,
And I'm Mr. Ritchie.
and
We
we
are
are
the
the
educators.
educators. And we will see you later. Have a good night.